Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new, and as always, thank you for tuning in, stopping by and supporting the channel. Like I said in the last video, I couldn't do this without you guys, seriously. And thank you for helping me get to 60 subs. We are 40 away from reaching our 100 sub goal for the channel. And I really appreciate it if you can share this to your friends, family members, or even get them to subscribe to the channel as well. And you guys can follow along and watch together and, I don't know, talk of a storm in the comments section if you want. That's why it's there. But without further ado, let's get to this video. So in my last video, if you guys were able to catch that, it wasn't too long ago, it was on Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. I talked about the Xbox Games Showcase 2024 and all the great games that they're getting ready to release, but there was one game in particular that I did not cover. If you were one of those people who read descriptions to every video they watch, good on you, because you understood the assignment and you know exactly why we're here today. But for the rest of you who didn't, I put in my description that I would be covering this game separately because I thought it deserved its own video to cover, just because this is a game probably as big as maybe the Gears of War reveal. However, there's so much going on with this game, with the studios involved with this game. I thought it would have been better just to cover this in its own entirety, its own video. And without further ado, we're going to be discussing Perfect Dark. So, for any of you who don't know, this game originally released on the N64. Later on, the IP was picked up by Microsoft, got re-released on the Xbox, and it's been several years, decades now, that Perfect Dark has seen an entry. More recently, in 2018, Microsoft founded a studio called The Initiative, which would then helm the production of this game or create this project. And this initially was set to be a reboot. It still is, nothing has changed. And they were producing this game, well, co-producing this game with a third-party studio named Crystal Dynamics. If you don't know about Crystal Dynamics, they're one of the better gaming studios out there. Some of the more recent and notable games that Crystal Dynamics have worked on were the Tomb Raider games, or the Tomb Raider series of games, and Marvel's Avengers. We won't talk about Marvel's Avengers, but the new reboot, or the recent reboot of the Tomb Raider games, I thought were actually pretty good. And if that's any indicator of the skill and talent that is working at Crystal Dynamics, then you can bet that Perfect Dark is in good hands with both Crystal Dynamics working on this game and The Initiative. The premise of this game is a first-person shooter. I wouldn't say it's a shooter. It is more stealth-based. It's a spy espionage game. It's more akin to something like Hitman without all the takedowns. Hitman's more over the top with takedowns. I wouldn't say this is like that, but if you had to think of a franchise that this would be similar to, think James Bond, but in the future and with a female protagonist, right? You following along? Okay, great. So, brief summary is that it's a secret agent thriller set in the near future world of spies, technology, and secrets. So this game is coming day one to Game Pass. There wasn't a release date that was revealed in the Xbox Games Showcase. However, if one had to speculate and guesstimate when this game would arrive to consoles or to PC, sometime in late 2025, maybe the middle of 2026, or maybe even late 2026. I say this because this game has been going through its troubles. So I did say that the studio that's helming this project, The Initiative, started in 2018. If you know anything, that was just 2 years before COVID. And during COVID, a lot of studios had trouble working on games just because instead of being at the studio and being able to collaborate with your coworkers, you're now at home. And sending files through email or whatever other means that they were being used made it a lot more difficult and tedious just to get stuff around. And always having to track down a coworker that's working on a specific part of the game made it a lot more difficult just to go by and produce this game. This is one of the reasons why the creators of Stalker 2 or the Stalker franchise have been delaying that game so much, because it was very difficult to manage being able to work on this game through such a climate. Especially, things didn't help that the conflict that's going on in Ukraine, right? So the initiative is working on this game during COVID alongside Crystal Dynamics. However, productions kind of slowed down because there was creative differences between the two studios. One studio wanted to do this, the other studio wanted to do that, and it kind of halted production for a little bit. It didn't completely stop, but for a bit, like, you never heard any news on this game, and that's because those two studios were doing, I wouldn't say infighting, but pretty much that. Creative differences. You know, you got two creative teams that want to pull one way, and no mediator, so that doesn't help either. But it seems like ever since 2022 or just after COVID, a lot of these studios kicked it into gear, and the same could be said about Crystal Dynamics and the initiative. So they were able to find common ground and were able to get back on track. Initially, this game was going to be developed on Unreal Engine 4, and that was the time during pre-production. However, since the release of Unreal Engine 5 and them getting back on schedule and working out their differences with Crystal Dynamics, the initiative I'm talking about, they were able to restart or start up back production on this game, and they made the move or the shift like most studios in the industry from Unreal Engine 4 to 5 during this time. So they're another group of studios that shifted their game from the previous engine to the newer engine, because there are so many more benefits, obviously, and most of the industry is on Unreal Engine 5. I shouldn't have to say why. This should be known by now, but if you don't know, because you don't know about these things, Unreal Engine 5 is pretty much touted as the gold standard in the industry at this point. So aside from them making the shift from Unreal Engine 4 to 5, they are now back on track, like I said, and they're working on this game. There are rumors that the reboot of Perfect Dark is kind of similar to Deus Ex. I don't know how true that is, because again, that's a rumor. However, if we just take a look at the elements that are in this game, which is first-person shooter, it's an immersive sim, and stealth action, one could say that it's very close to maybe Deus Ex. But after seeing the trailer for Perfect Dark, I kind of want to say it might have some Deus Ex elements, but it's more Mirror's Edge than Deus Ex. Only because in watching the trailer, we got to see mantling, we got to see her climbing pipes, we got to see her doing launches, traversing from rooftop to rooftop, and certain takedowns from rooftops, very similar to what we got in Mirror's Edge, which is also a phenomenal game and a game that stands on its own in terms of parkour or in that genre, which honestly, I don't mind them taking elements away from that game, such as traversal and combat, because it's a good game to base that on if you're talking about a stealth spy sim, right? I like the atmosphere of this game. I know it's set in the future, but I also like the environment that they chose to drop this game in. So from what we saw in the trailer, it looks to be like, I don't know, like a jungle environment, but also like a small city. So maybe we'll have some elements where we'll be doing missions in the city, and then some missions will be done outside of the city in the jungles, which would be cool. It would be honestly cool, take us back and forth between two different environments like that, two different biomes. So it doesn't make the game feel repetitive or samey. It makes it different because you'll have one mission in a city. Maybe you're in a building and it's a skyscraper, and the entire mission you're at the top of the skyscraper. Another mission you're just in the small city nearby, and you're traversing on top of rooftops and taking out a plethora of enemies that are in your way. And then other parts of the game, you could be in the jungles and, guerrilla war tactics and stuff like that. Should be kind of cool, honestly. Very nice. And in terms of the jungle tactics or the jungle warfare, I guess you could say something along the lines of Metal Gear Solid. So the gameplay definitely has some elements of like Watch Dogs in terms of the gadgets that you use, as we saw in the trailer. Just very nice subtle touch, and it does make it feel like that spy agent kind of game where you're infiltrating a compound and there's a group of enemies, and you're gonna do a scan first before you even make your move, and then you look at the lay of the landscape and see what you want to use to your advantage, how you want to take down enemies, how are you going to enter, are you going to be loud or are you going to be quiet, things like that. I love it because it reminds me of James Bond. Sometimes James Bond will just go into a compound and he's just guns blazing, or sometimes James Bond is like, you know what, I'm gonna sneak in and you're not even gonna know I'm there till it's too late. Which is cool. And it gives players choice on how they want to approach different missions and different scenarios, which is great. Obviously, we'll probably see another trailer or reveal for this game or a deep dive in the next Xbox showcase. You could always bet your bottom dollar that you'll see something like that for another game that's close to its release date. And I'm honestly looking forward to this game. Any fans out there for Perfect Dark, you let me know what you guys thought about this trailer, this reveal trailer, and if you're excited about playing this, because honestly I am, and I could honestly see a whole new audience would be excited to play this as well. And with that concludes this video. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, and thank you to all my subscribers, because without you, this wouldn't be possible, and I wouldn't be here. And like I said, stay tuned this week for these codes, because yeah, I got a bunch of codes for you guys, and you don't want to miss out. And like I said, for you Diablo fans out there, I'm gonna have a new video in a series out for you guys sometime this week. You Disney Speedstorm fans, gonna have a video out for you guys as well as for any of you football fans, and I mean football, the sport that you play with your feet. Yeah, I'm gonna have maybe some coverage on that beta for UFL, so stay tuned for that. That was kind of fun. And also multiverses, I got some more content for you guys, so don't think I forgot about you guys. Oh yeah, an X Defiant. Oh yeah, I got some more content up my sleeve, so don't miss out on that. And I will be revisiting Conqueror's Blade sometime the end of this week, early next week. So just giving you guys a timeline of what to expect this week. But yeah, thank you guys for stopping by, like I said. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. I'm your boy, Sammy Namikaze. And I'll see you later, everyone. Have a good day.